H1. The last child of Titan. P. Strong, year 2214. Humanity had finally reached the outer planets. Mars had become a second home. The moon was covered with cities. Jupiter had mining colonies. And Saturn's moon Titan had become humanity's most mysterious frontier. Titan was cold, dark, and almost completely hidden beneath an orange sky. But beneath its frozen surface, scientists had discovered something impossible: an ocean. And inside that ocean, something was moving. Captain Strong Elias Voss had spent 12 years exploring worlds that humans once believed were unreachable. But nothing prepared him for the message that arrived from Titan. It contained only 3 words: "Please come home." The message was impossible. Titan had no permanent population, no communication station capable of transmitting human speech. And yet the voice belonged to a child, a little girl. Elias listened to the recording again. A frightened voice whispered, "Please, don't leave me here." Then the transmission ended. Elias immediately volunteered for the mission. His daughter, strong Lena, had disappeared 7 years earlier during an evacuation accident on Earth. He had spent years searching for her. Everyone told him to accept that she was gone. He never did. Now, hearing the voice of a child from Titan, he couldn't explain why. But something inside him whispered, "Go." The journey took 4 months. When Elias finally arrived above Titan, the moon looked nothing like the photographs. Lightning moved silently through thick orange clouds. Frozen methane rivers stretched across the surface. And beneath the ice, a mine was sinking in the cavern. An enormous blue light was glowing. Elias stared at the readings. "That's not natural." His pilot looked at him. "What is it?" Elias answered quietly, "I don't know." Then the ship received another transmission, the same child's voice. This time she said, "Captain Voss, you're late." Elias froze. How does she know my name? No one answered. Elias and his team descended through a kilometer of frozen crust. Their submarine entered Titan's underground ocean. The darkness was absolute. Then something appeared in the distance. A city. Not human, not abandoned, alive. Huge transparent structures floated beneath the ocean. Thousands of lights moved between them. Something had built an entire civilization inside Titan's hidden sea, and it was watching them. Their submarine suddenly lost power. The lights disappeared. Then a figure appeared outside the glass. A girl. She looked human. She was about 10 years old. She placed her hand against the window. Elias stared at her. His heart stopped, because he recognized her face. It was Lena, his daughter. But Lena had disappeared when she was 12, 7 years ago. The girl outside looked exactly the same age. Elias whispered, "Lena?" The girl smiled. "You finally remembered me." Elias opened the submarine hatch. The girl entered. He wanted to touch her, to make sure she was real, but he was afraid. She looked at him. "I'm sorry, Dad." Elias couldn't speak. "How are you still 10? Lena looked toward the ocean, because time doesn't work the same way here. She explained that when she disappeared during the Earth evacuation, she had been transported through an experimental energy field. The field didn't kill her. It opened a passage to Titan. The beings living beneath the moon had found her. They called themselves the Naru. They were not aliens in the way humans had imagined. They were an ancient ocean civilization that had existed beneath Titan for millions of years. And they had saved Lena. But there was a problem. The Naru were dying. Their ocean was losing energy. Their civilization had only months remaining. Lena had become the bridge between humans and the Naru. She had spent 7 years helping them understand humanity. And now she had called her father. because there was only one thing capable of saving them: Earth's new fusion technology. Elias looked at the dying city. "You want humanity to give you our most powerful energy source?" Lena shook her head. "No." She looked into his eyes. "We need your help." "Help with what?" Lena's voice became quiet. "Titan is waking up." The Naru showed Elias something beneath their city, a gigantic structure. It stretched deeper than their civilization. No one knew who had built it. The Naru called it the Heart. For millions of years, the Heart had remained dormant. It generated energy that sustained Titan's ocean. It had started failing, and something inside it had begun moving. Elias asked, "What is inside?" The Naru leader answered, "We don't know." Suddenly the ocean shook. Every light in the city turned red. A sound traveled through the water. Slow, deep, almost like a heartbeat. Boom! The city shook. Boom! Cracks appeared across the structures. Boom! Lena grabbed Elias's hand. "Dad? What?" "That's why I called you." Another heartbeat shook the ocean. The heart had awakened, and something was coming out. Elias discovered the truth from the Naru archives. Millions of years earlier, the Naru had not built the heart. They had found it. It wasn't a power source. It was a prison. Something had been trapped inside Titan before the Naru civilization existed. A living intelligence, an ancient entity capable of consuming planetary energy. The Naru had spent millions of years keeping it asleep, but humanity's arrival had changed everything. Human technology had accidentally activated the prison. Now the entity was waking, and if it escaped, it wouldn't destroy Titan. It would move toward Earth. Elias looked at Lena. "We have to leave." Lena shook her head. "No. Lena, we don't have a choice." "We do." She looked toward the city. "They saved me." Elias understood. His daughter had spent 7 years among beings who weren't human. Yet she considered them family. And now she was asking him to save them. The only way to stop the entity was to destroy the heart. But doing so would destroy the Naru civilization. Millions would die. The other option was to transfer the heart's energy into human technology. That would save the Naru, but it would also give humanity access to an energy source powerful enough to change the entire solar system. Elias knew what humanity would do with that power. They would build weapons, colonies, armies. They would turn Titan into another battlefield. He looked at his daughter. "What would you do?" Lena answered, "I'd choose the people who saved me." Elias closed his eyes. 7 years earlier, he had lost his daughter trying to save humanity. Now humanity was asking him to sacrifice the civilization that had raised her. He finally understood something. Sometimes saving the future meant refusing to repeat the past. Elias entered the heart with Lena. They traveled deeper beneath Titan. The walls glowed around them. At the center of the chamber was a massive sphere of light. Something was moving. The entity spoke. Not with words, with memories. Elias suddenly saw Earth, his daughter, as a little girl. Their final day together. Her laughing. Her asking him, "Dad, will you always come back?" Elias began crying. He had forgotten that memory. The entity had found it inside him. Then it spoke. "Give me your world." Elias looked at Lena. She was crying too. "No." The entity grew brighter. "Then give me yourself." Elias stepped forward. Lena grabbed his arm. "Dad, don't." He smiled. For the first time in 7 years, he felt at peace. "I promised I'd come back." Lena shook her head. "You can't leave me again." Elias touched her forehead. "I never really left." He activated the energy core. The heart began collapsing. The entity screamed. The entire ocean turned white. Lena was thrown backward. Elias disappeared inside the light. Then, silence. 3 days later, Titan was quiet. The Naru survived. Their city remained beneath the ocean. The heart was gone, the ancient entity was gone, and Elias Voss was presumed dead. Lena returned to Earth. For the first time in 7 years, she walked beneath a real sky. Humanity learned the truth about Titan, and for once, they chose not to conquer it. Titan became a protected world, a place where two civilizations could exist without destroying each other. But Lena never stopped looking at Saturn. Every night, she searched the sky. 1 year later, on her birthday, she received a message. No spacecraft had transmitted it. No satellite had detected it. It simply appeared on her screen. 3 words: "I'm coming home." Lena stopped breathing. Then another message appeared. "Look up." She ran outside. Above Earth, beyond the moon, a tiny blue light crossed the stars. Lena whispered, "Dad?" The light disappeared, but something remained on her screen, a final transmission. Somewhere between the stars, I learned something. A pause. Home isn't a planet. Another pause. Home is the person you're willing to cross the universe for. Lena smiled through her tears and looked toward the stars. Humanity had spent centuries searching for intelligent life. They had searched Mars, Europa, Titan, the distant planets. But perhaps the greatest discovery wasn't finding another civilization. Perhaps it was discovering that across billions of kilometers, love could still find its way home. The screen fades to black. A final title appears. The Last Child of Titan. Somewhere beyond Saturn, the story continues.